full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP. Hey, Gumpers.
Hola, bom dia, Leiria. Munson here from Expats, Portugal.com with the Good Morning Portugal show, live stream and podcast. And don't you just hate it when you make some toast for yourself? The butter is ready to be spread, the raspberry jam is ready, and then you forget to eat it, and then it's showtime. And it's not going to be an hour and a half, or it's going to be an hour and a half before you're able to eat it. Mrs. M, enjoy the toast. Have that as a gift from me this morning. That's annoying, but there you go. There's probably a Portuguese phrase about it, like, what's this? Amigo no empata amigo. A friend doesn't hinder a friend. Or antes só do que mal acompanhado. Better to be alone than in bad company. These are great. Thank you, T-Duck, for these Portuguese proverbs. Continuing with the Bom Dia Alegria Gumpers from the T-Duck as well. Isn't there? Somebody told me, and it's obviously not right to be sharing on this show, but to never slap a woman unless her moustache is on fire. Surely the Portuguese wouldn't make a phrase like that, and we do not condone that in any way. Bom dia, Gumpers. Feliz quarta a todos. Apparently a few technical bugs this morning. Here we are. Are you calling yourself a technical bug? James, thank you for prompting me and reminding me that I hadn't even set a show up for this morning, which thwarted a few people. Often these comments are in at 7 in the morning, 7:30, quite a few comments before the show's even started. And I thwarted that little bit of foreplay this morning. And I apologize. I can only apologize, but let's see what dynamic that brings. I think the old human being likes a little bit of a shake-up. And on that note, I realized I had one of those... not quite a road to Damascus experience. That would be another order of things altogether, isn't it? But I had a realization which made me chuckle. And that was, I was getting quite bored of where I was walking the dogs in the morning and in the evenings. Oh, here we go again. Round the block, same old, same old. And then the funny thing I realized is it's me that organizes the walk. Now, if you're bored of something you've got control over, is there any hope for you? And what I'll do is, à noite boa conselheira, I'll sleep on it and see what I could come up with. But I did decide to go in a different direction. It's like that joke, isn't it, where the guy complains about his packed lunch every day. You may know it. Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you've got till it's gone? What's that in Portuguese then? Okay, we can ask Philomena next time she joins us. She's not content with sending us photographs yesterday of the snow in the Serra do Estrela Mountains. She sent me these as well. These are amazing. Does anyone know what this is, or have you been here in Portugal? Okay, a castle. When you've been here for a while, just ask Jerry. Quite unremarkable. Another castle in Portugal. But look, take a closer look around this castle, and you'll see this incredible rock formation here. And there's another angle on things. That's got to be central or north, hasn't it? And what is it that Philomena tells us this is? Who she'll be joining a Premium Plus people. She's with us from 9 o'clock on tomorrow. My goodness, it's Wednesday. Anyway, what you're looking at there is Cabeça da Velha in the south. We see picture, which is and the great big bit of rock. I'm no geologist, as you can tell. Although my first job was at the Geological Museum in South Kensington in London, but it didn't really rub off on me, so to speak. There you go. Let me just give you the name of that again. I bet you want me to put this in the comments, don't you? So you can add it to your list of things to do in Portugal. I will gladly oblige with that. It is, of course. And talking of wonderful places to go in Portugal, anyway, let me just stick with this one. Cabeça da Velha, the old head. And there's probably a Portuguese phrase for that, isn't it? An old head is much older than a young head. I'm sure that can be improved upon. Back to the literary, Carl. Okay, talking of great places to go here in Portugal, I've got a treat for you, thanks to Chris, who I'm so surprised, Chris. That made me chuckle as well. Your message here, morning all, very late night last night, surprised that I'm actually here. And I think Chris means that in every sense of the word here, given the night that he's had. Am I allowed to share with people, Chris, what you were up to last night? Quite, you ain't lost it, mate. You ain't lost it. You're so rock and roll. And there you are with your kind of, what is it? Squeaky clean bluegrass image. But beneath the surface lurks a rock and roll beast, as your behavior seems to attest to last night. May I tell everybody? It's Wednesday, so we're leaving early, but I hope to see some of you at Carl's gathering later today. Fantastic. Now, how's that weather looking? Should we make a decision together about the venue? Because I was thinking, when I started the show, it was looking like a Palmeira day, which could be a new Portuguese weather index system. Is it a Samar day where you need to be inside because it's raining and windy? Or is it a Palmeira day where we can be outside with Nelson overlooking the sea view there and the green San Martino de Porto? The jury's out for the moment. Rain coming. It may well be a Samar day today. Okay, I was starting to worry too. Bon dia alegria. Sorry about that, everybody, causing concern this morning by not publishing a show last night. I was up late last night and I was creating we have weekly content for the Expats Portugal plan, the Premium Plus level of membership. And I was up late last night working on that. And as I said, if you're part of that handheld accelerator, sounds like a fairground ride, doesn't it? The louder you scream, the faster we go on that particular course for getting you here. Not really, for getting you here to Portugal. And Philomena will be in for a VIP Q&A. Anything you want to know about Portuguese culture and language, she joins us at 9 on the Premium Plus level of membership, which is very affordable now. All of our membership, well, all of them, both of our membership plans are available on the monthly charge, as well as paying the whole lot up front, for which you are rewarded and given a discount. But I don't think there's any reason why people shouldn't be able to take advantage of Expats Portugal membership. And let me put the link for doing that to remind you to subconsciously product place you so that you think at the end of the show, there's something missing in my life. It's the power of consumerism and marketing. There's something missing in my life. I don't know what it is, but I feel the need, and if you're not already, I feel the need to be a member of the Expats Portugal community, whether that be a free membership, of course, don't exclude anybody, free membership, premium membership, and Premium Plus with all the benefits that each of those levels infers and bestows upon people. Right, no need to worry, Buddy, and hopefully see you later. What do you think, Buddy? You're a veteran of the Silver Coast meetup. Samar or Palmeira, do we risk it out in the wind and rain potentially? Dimitri Martin quote, I think vests are all about protection. You know what I mean? Like a life vest protects you from drowning, and bulletproof vests protect you from getting shot. There's more to come, isn't there? And sweater vests protect you from pretty girls. Is that what I've got on today? Do turtlenecks come into that as well? They named this fruit after me. James Holly, of course. And while he's here, let's have a look at this lovely portrait here. Was this captured? Who was this captured by? I will let you know in just a moment. But there is the banana slug in his native environment, by which I mean Ericeira. There he is from Santa Cruz, California, and here he is now in Ericeira. And I think he's made the transition pretty well. From my walk with Jess a couple of weeks ago, he says, sometimes I have to remind myself that this is where I am, where I live. Wow. I say that to my kids when we go to, and thank you, Jess, for the permission to share these. I say that to the kids when we go to the beach here. We live here. Look at that, Ericeira. Now, what is that huge building? Is that a grand hotel on the promontory at the end there? That could, could so easily be the Californian coast from my memory of it. And that's a beautiful photograph. Thank you, Jess, for capturing that portrait of the slug, as it were. And I was going to show you, I was prompted to show you another photo. Then let me just see if I can find something else to share with you. Oh yeah, let's get this out of the way, because it's a little bit unsavory, but it's not. It's a dad meme as much as it is a dad joke. So let me just set it up appropriately with this.
Warning.
Oh no! Oops. Oh no! Dougie, you are naughty, and Dougie sent this in. I'll have to explain it for the for the podcast listeners and those of you who can't look at your screen at the moment. If you can look at your screen, you will see why later that day, Sally taught herself how to ride her own bike. And if you ever wondered what happens, and that child should have a crash helmet on and a face mask, I think it's fair to say. But yes, Sally became very independent after that experience. Thank you, Dougie. You are so naughty. Where are you, Dougie? Back in Welsh Wales now. Okay, and let's have a look at a few more of your comments this morning. Chris is here. Thank you for sending in the vid. That the mystery is beginning to solve and reveal itself. Thank you, Chris, for the video you sent me. The music world is mourning the loss of one of their own. Oh dear, Andrew Woolfolk. What an amazing name, has died. This, according to his former Earth, Wind and Fire bandmate, Philip Bailey. I didn't know that. What a shame. And I'm not familiar with Andrew Woolfolk, who it would appear is a member of the Earth, Wind and Fire team, which was a big team, was it not? Can you tell us more, please, Chris? Thank you for being tuned in this morning. Baldilocks is here. Hola, Gompers. A man of a couple of words, Baldilocks. Always great to hear from you, Baldilocks, and your greeting that you leave with us, I think, just as you're falling asleep. Thunderduck, we're heading your way today, leaving Porto later this morning, and I have a lovely video to play before the doc gets here this morning. Yes, it is, of course, Ask Anything About Portugal Wednesday. Well, do you know what? We do that every Wednesday, Ask Anything About Portugal. There's different flavors. It's like a box of chocolates. And on this, the last, or actually the fourth Wednesday, because sometimes there's the fifth, isn't there? And that throws me. But it does put some nice unexpected items in the bagging area of the show programming. But today, the fourth Wednesday of the month, the doc will be here. And I have sent him the link. He cannot complain this week about me not sending him the link. Nor would he, of course, nor would he. But he was, of course, a GP in the United Kingdom. So there is a health slant. Anything you need to know about ingrowing toenails, piles, all that sort of stuff that Gumpers suffer from, then do please ask those questions after 9. No point asking now. I will not be able to help you with such things. But and I won't even try. That would be go against a code or something or other somewhere, wouldn't it? Or beyond the bounds of common decency, basically, for me to enter into such areas. But there we go. Chris is leaving Porto, and we have a lovely souvenir of the visit. Do we not, Chris? You sent me some images and videos, and that's another reason why I was up late last night. So I'll share that in just a moment. Before the doc arrives at 9, asking anything with me or answering anything about Portugal, but with a particular specialism in the area of health and well-being with the doc. Bon dia, Carl. We'll watch the show later, going for my second booster. You're a bit behind schedule. Aren't we up to number 27 now, Deagle? Not compulsory, just feel safer in my job in a hospital setting. Well, fair enough, mate. Bon dia, todos. My prof moment. Oh, here we go. This today in South African history. Well, it's our South African Freedom Day today. Was our first free and fair election in 1994, where Nelson Mandela was voted in South African as South African president. Hope you're all good. All good here, Francis. Good to see more of you on the show, as it were. Oh, vests. Seeing more of people on the show reminds me that I keep forgetting. It reminds me that I keep forgetting how complicated is the human mind, or mine anyway. I've got some comments that I want to share with you. And the mention of vests reminds me of a comment I've been wanting to read out for quite a long time now. Joseph asks, this was only 3 days ago. This seems like I've been wanting to read this out for weeks, but for some reason, and I'm going to give it a thumbs up and a heart on the comments over on YouTube. Can you walk around in a Portuguese house in your underwear and still feel comfortable? This question has a lot of levels to it. I think I'm going to save the answer until the doc gets here. And then there's a supplementary part of it, which is and still feel comfortable. And what if in your own house? I don't quite understand that. Maybe the doc will understand that, because he has spent years obviously listening to people's problems and questions in a clinical setting. So we'll see if he can help with that. This year, says Nubianette, and I wanted to read this out as well. This year, I've become the neighborhood auntie. Didn't know about this. And this was prompted, I think, by the mention and the promotion of Cindy B's celebrant services. It's an older woman, says Nubianette, who watches out for you. A neighborhood auntie. Possibly tells you what to do. Oh, if necessary, right? That sounds good. I think I need one of those. In African-American culture, it's a very nice status. It's also used in Asian cultures as well. I think they may range a bit more bossy. I actually enjoy being referred to as auntie. Isn't that lovely? And isn't it great to be in a culture where if you're not a mother or a father, but you're of an age of that age bracket, you're referred to by the young ones as auntie or uncle. I used to do that when I was a kid. But that's because my mother's Asian. I suppose maybe she introduced that to me, and there was maybe, but I think it was a bit more of a thing in the UK back in the prehistoric times. Anyway, nice to see Moaz back as well, says Nibina. But no sooner said than Moaz seems to have disappeared again. Where are you, Moaz? Can someone check for Moaz, please? White phone reception. Hello, my friend. 2 in a row must be a record for me this year. What's that? Oh yes, 2 shows in a row. Always good to hear. You see, it is always good to see you here, Francis. I'm not the only one to say that this morning. I'm sure others will as well. Bon dia from Pamela. How you doing, Pamela? We're looking forward to Thomas's presentation tomorrow night, are we not? For both of you, obviously, in the Expats Portugal team. The Expats, Ask Our Expats subdivision of the Expats Portugal team. You can speak to Pam and Thomas, and Lucy and Sally, and get their view as expert expats. They've been here. You can talk to them about their experience of being here in Portugal, of which they are greatly experienced and very willing to tell you about their life here. Find that under the Ask Our Expats tab on expatsportugal.com. And Thomas's specialism, he is a surveyor and runs the company Rehabilitasia that you can see on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. And this is tomorrow evening's webinar, Comfortable Living in an Older Portuguese House. And I do not tire of an image of Thomas in a silk kimono, living comfortably in an older Portuguese house. But no, that's not what he means. It's expert advice on heat and cold and damp and pesky pests in older Portuguese houses. So join us for that tomorrow evening from 7:30. Go to the website again, expatsportugal.com, and what's on, and you can sign up for that. It should be very interesting. I'm sure Thomas will do a very thorough job on that. And what will he have to say about this? I'm never far away from this picture, am I? What would you say if you were asked to survey this apartment in Val, which we think after yesterday's conversation, was it the day before, is the Val near Óbidos, Silver Coast of Val, not the one in the Algarve. But what comes up on the surveying report for the added extra on the balcony there? Anyway, let's get back to your comments, shall we? Jean is here as well. Bon dia, Gumpers. It's been a while. Wow, a good medical presence this morning. How you doing, Jean? And hola, bon dia. My friends, have a wonderful day from Owen. Owen's here as well. Good morning, Owen. How you doing, mate? What is this? Suddenly all the comments shifted from beneath my finger there. We've got to crack on. And suddenly there were loads more comments, and they all scrolled in front of my eyes. They named this fruit after me. Can you change your name back to James? I keep reading that out thinking it's a comment. It's just a really long and contrived name, James. Now stop it. When I can, it shows life is getting more settled. So we're a barometer of stability for Francis. When he's here on 2 days running, we know something really good is happening. Nicest toast is hospital toast. And you'd have approved of my toast. It was cold enough for the butter not to melt. Which I don't like it like that, but that reminds me, I think, of institutional toast. You get it cold, don't you? And then you've got some work to do, a bit of a workout, working that butter into the cold toast. I think you'd have liked it, Deagle. I'm not going to get to eat it. Never again shall it be that this beautiful land will again experience the oppression of one by another. Nelson Mandela, sounding like Winston Churchill at the beginning there, wasn't it? Never! But never again shall it be that this beautiful land will again experience the oppression of one by another. Nelson Mandela there, and an interesting photo. Who is this? The days, you see, I made the point yesterday, didn't I, Prof, that it is now the 27th of April. A lot of people have enjoyed the holiday and gone back to work. But back in 1974, it was probably getting even more exciting at this phase. Or was it? You know, in all human endeavors, there's the forming, there's the norming, there's the storming, and then there's the performing. I'm sure revolutions are no exception to that trajectory. And I guess that they would have been in the forming stage. I suppose there's not much norming in a revolution, is there? I suppose a norming of a kind. But anyway, there would have been some forming and storming, would there not, before it got to the performing, which some arguably say it never reached. But anyway, let's not go there right now. Boa madrugada do New Jersey. Amanhã estou Lisboa. That's such good news, Gene. Such brilliant news. And I'm reminded that I didn't download the wonderful images that you sent me. I think I might do that. Listen to the doc and loading your image, just to let you into a little secret there. Hopefully the doc isn't already watching and catching. Yeah, Wednesday, 5 Wednesday, and if you don't like, if you don't like the direction you're headed, choose a different direction. I know that now. It was me that was choosing where we went with the dogs, as in where me and the dogs went of an evening, and I'm bored with my own selection. Can you believe that's anyway? Victoria Benson, hola, bon dia, kids from sunny Praia de Rocha. Ooh, Celeste, was it just in my head, or did you hear that as well? How profound. Which is that? Yeah, that could have been so many things this morning. When you come to a fork in the road, take it. The old Garvo, yes, in the Estrada. Woolfolk, who served as the band's saxophonist, okay, sax player of Earth, Wind & Fire, and flute player, no less, helped launch Earth, Wind & Fire into legendary status and gifted us a few of the most memorable songs of the 70s and early 80s. Do you remember? Oh, legend, a passing of a legend today then. Oh, sad, isn't it? Connection is a tad flaky, says Sam Nazare. I think an Apple Mac could fix this. Well, if you want to have a little GoFundMe to get me an Apple Mac, I'll make the transition. Oh, I'm not camping outside any shops or anything like that. They named this fruit. Stop it! They have a fruit named. Where's he been? Where has he been? Carl, yes, you can mention our German encounter. Sounds like one of those 70s 70s movies, Chris, you and your German encounter. A spoon is not a fork. My goodness, it is getting very profound. And Butard Carlito. All right. My goodness. And Rebel Mama's here. Hola, Pashel. Sunny, cloudy, and warm. Yes, we like it like that, don't we? It was a warm day yesterday. I've got a video from my garden to prove that. I did a bit of harvesting yesterday, which I want to proudly share with you to show you what an amazing grower. I'm the shower, she's the grower. Mrs. M is. It almost reduced me to tears. In fact, I did weep a little bit. Harvesting one of the most profound pieces of abundance from the garden. I mean, we eat from the garden. We got lettuce and spinach and herbs and this, that, and the other. But to harvest a head of broccoli that was bigger than my fist, because often when you grow things in an organic way, they can be on the tiny side. But Mrs. M grew this prize-winning vegetable, and there's another one to come that's still out in the garden. But it was just such a lovely moment. I can't tell you how great it was. But you'll get a sense of it because I'm going to show you the video. Bon dia Gria from Pete this morning. How you doing? Now, a spark might present a problem. Is that... okay. That's for Sally, was it, who we showed earlier on? I say risk it. I have only been to Samar, and I'm ready for a change. I'm looking at the weather. Baddie, you're a baddie influence on me. Good morning, Gumpers. Miracle sales ready to leave tomorrow. Oh my goodness, searching ferry to German ticks. What does that mean? You need a ferry to Germany ticket. Okay, got it. Okay, so some of this then. Hold on a minute, and then we'll play the video from Chris and tell you about his German encounter. Boom, boom. Oh, I'm waiting for that to disappear, and I've got to take that off myself. Any Prairie Home Companion fans here? I know this is Portuguese today in Portuguese history, but just suddenly in that moment of singing, I thought we could have a variety show along the lines of the Prairie Home Companion. Is that too naff and uncool? I watched a little bit of it yesterday, and I really enjoyed it. It was the last one. It was very moving, very, very moving. Anyway, back to today in Portuguese history. Some of you will be thinking, Prairie Home Companion, what is he talking about? I think Americans who know Mr. Rogers will also know Prairie Home Companion. And some of you will be thinking, no, I had to sit through that with my grandparents and parents. I'm not sitting through that with Carl Munson. Anyway, today in Portuguese history, number one. Oh, there might be two today, everybody. 1521 navigator Ferdinand Magellan. It's that great name. And I might be saying it wrong. Now I'm saying it out loud. Is it Magellan? Killed in the Philippines. Oh dear. Magellan is killed during a tribal skirmish on Mactan Island in the Philippines. could we say with an Explorer it would have been what they wanted? Probably not, actually. And we'll go back to Andrew Woolfolk a little bit later on, because I think there's more to come. Oh, today in Portuguese history too. 1974, Brazil becomes first country to recognize Junta de Salvação Nacional, the interim government of Portugal. Yeah, in 1974, how quickly would that news have been coming through? Would it be news from Portugal just arriving in Brazil? I wonder how long it took for the news to get there in 1974. Telex machine, or a crackly phone call from Portugal. I wonder how that news was delivered. Very different to today, of course. Scene. Vila Gael Eric, iconic landmark hotel in Ericeira for some 50 years or so. That looks like a great place to have an afternoon tea then. Should we have a bit of a gathering there one of these days? They named this fruit after me. Hey, please, James, change your name back. Hopefully Carl will see the light eventually. Come to the light side. I'm being inexplicably drawn to an Apple shop. What's going on? What's happening to me? Come to the light side. Join the League of Apple fanboys. Never! To salute Andrew Woolfolk, any song or all songs from Earth, Wind and Fire could be the Faixa de Dia today. Yeah, so it is our tribute. The Faixa de Dia, the jazz funk track of the day, does go and is dedicated to Andrew Woolfolk of Earth, Wind and Fire, 1950 to 2022. May you rest in peace. And thank you for all the music, Andrew. That's quite incredible. And sobering news this morning. Thank you, Chris. The first buyer was a pastor. Oh, okay. This is out of context comments, but this is Sue's selling her stuff. He blessed me with cash as well, I hope. I am not religious, but spiritual. All the same, miracles happened. Ooh, you can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways, can you? I'm an atheist, but I do like the odd miracle. My eye is drawn towards a Bond baddie on the screen. Look at this. Oh, my goodness. I don't even like cats, but look at what's going on here.
It's beautiful.
What happened? What happened here?
Bom dia a todos. We were, as you know,
I just had to get you on the screen there. I thought to myself, what is he doing? He's stroking his beard. And then his beard started moving. So go on, what's the story here? Bon dia to you.
So we were, as you know, a couple of weeks ago, we were driving around northwestern Europe. So UK, Belgium, France, Germany, Holland. And we got a call from Alicia, who was still in Leiria, say, oh, can we have a cat? So we said, yeah, well, that's okay, because we're hopefully going to be moving to a house soon, and we like cats, and I've always had cats, and so we said, how old are kittens? Yeah, so can I have two? So yeah, all right, you can have two. So we ended up with two kittens, which were barely 2 weeks old when Alicia had them taken from their mother, fed every couple of hours, both until and after we came back. We're actually looking after 3 at the moment. They're all girls. So this adds to me being outnumbered. But we've got the 3 because the other one is her friends, and her friend's mother works, and the friends at school. So we've got the 3 of them right now. 3 beautiful little bundles of fur. This one's called Ivy. The other 2 are fighting each other on the floor. So
as they do.
I won't try and show you.
Oh, Doc, I can't wait for the moment in the show this morning where those 2 cats run up the back of the sofa onto your head, and then are hanging from your spectacles with their little butts in your face. So let's hope that happens fairly soon, and we can have a little bit of a giggle about that, because that's what they'll be doing, won't they? Have you got any curtains for them to run up?
No, thankfully, because we have these fantastic built-in blinds everywhere. We didn't bother with curtains.
Okay, so just nibbling your ears instead.
Yeah, this one, exactly what this one's doing. They're brilliant. You know, they're barely 4 weeks old. They're using the litter tray most of the time. They're purring loudly in my ear. This
Well,
one was nibbling my ear.
Yeah, we might get to see what they use at other times other than the litter tray. This is great live. This is great live TV today. So I take it they're orphans, and that's why they were separated from mum so soon, right? Or...
They're not orphans. I think the mother would have ended up with some dead kittens if the kittens weren't taken off the owners.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, but they're beautiful.
And I think it's also safe to say James Bond is not going to be at all worried. This Bond baddie here.
James Bond had better be worried.
Well, maybe in a year's time, as you sit there in the dark with a fully grown cat rather than a little kid. Come, Mr. Bond. You know you love kittens as much as I do, right? Okay, well, good morning to you. Great to have you here. It's 9 o'clock on the Good Morning Portugal show, and the Doc is here live from Leiria, and of course, it's Ask Anything About Portugal Wednesday. And I don't know about you, Doc, but the holidays of the last couple of weeks have seemed to have put Portugal in a permanent holiday mood. Is it nice and laid back where you are, and has it been for the last few days?
This is Leiria. It's always laid back.
Laid back. Yeah, very good. I'm good with that. All right. Excellent.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, it is. It is.
Okay. I'm being urged to get an Apple still. Look, you're an Apple fanboy, aren't you?
No, absolutely not. I left Apple behind a long time back. In fact, I only ever had Apple because I joined a medical partnership that basically used Apple exclusively for work. So I ended up having a free Apple iPhone with my name etched into the back of it.
Those lovely perks.
Yeah, but I was glad to be rid of it. I much prefer Android, and I'm a tinkerer, I'm a programmer, so Apple just pisses me off, if you pardon the expression.
I'll have to be now, won't I? But you're right. I don't know why I thought you were an Apple fan. And I saw a couple of guys on a YouTube video trying to do something to quite a high-spec, high-end processor. Not one of their towers. They don't make towers, but one of their boxes. They're one of their super processor computers, and they were cursing because they could get it open just about, but you had to do this and you had to do that according to Apple, and you had to have a second machine to restart the first one. And these guys it was a real love-hate relationship. And I think some of it's not all just straightforward cult worship, is it? There is a little bit of animosity from time to time from within the camp when that sort of thing happens. Anyway, enough of that right now, unless you do want to ask questions of an IT-oriented nature, because I think you're a bit of a dab hand, aren't you? Generally speaking, in the world of IT, programmer as well.
Yeah, I program in several different languages, and I've set networks up. I've updated, upgraded computers. In fact, I was upgrading computers from the first PC I got back in 1990, probably. When I think you'd need about 40 of those huge desktop PCs that I first got. Which in order to equal the power and storage of my current mobile phone.
Heady times. Incredible. And last time we saw you, of course, you were traveling all over, as you said, and you'd been to the Netherlands and France. You're driving through France. Everything sorted out now, because it wasn't just for pleasure and leisure, was it? You had a mission.
Yeah, I was on a mission to get my my wheelchair, which is a souped up what do you call it? Those hoverboard things. Name escapes me. Come on, help me out here.
No, I can't. I can't remember.
The one out of the one out of Malcop. Anyway,
exactly what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. And this is the first. It's not a memorable word. You can see in your mind's eye that you're standing on these sort of scooter things that move as you lean. They move, and they're very comedic, aren't they? They've been used for comic effect in a lot of movies, I think, because
they are, but they've really caught on in a number of places. Germany, in particular, has quite a big industry for Black Forest forest tours. Segway. There you go.
Segway, there we go.
There are a lot of them. In various parts of the world. There are a few in Portugal, but this was so a wheelchair that was invented by a very clever New Zealand engineer, and the wheelchair based on a Segway unit that was adapted under license, and it was originally called an Ogo. And I got one of the first ones when they released the retail market, and it's now called an Omeo because there was a brand name Ogo in the accessibility mobility sector in Australia. So when they started expanding, they realized they're going to have to change their name. But mine was originally branded Ogo. Anyway, long story short, they rolled out across Europe and North America, and the nearest engineer to me here is in the Netherlands. So when it needed fixing more than my local handy motorcycle engineer could sort out, we had to drive it to the Netherlands. I could have shipped it. It would have cost the same, and I wouldn't have met the guys and been able to explain exactly what was going on, and they wouldn't be able to explain exactly what they'd done. So
you are so adventurous, Doc. You really are. As a Cancerian, I prefer to stay around the home, but you can't wait for an opportunity to get out. Are you a Sagittarian, by any chance?
Well, I'm a Gemini.
Oh, Gemini, typical. Anyway, so Suze is on the move. Great news from Suze. Rebel Mama delighted that the universe is providing, and she got blessed by a pasta. And I don't mean like tagliatelle or twirls or anything like that. Actual pasta. Being different ways of being blessed by pasta. They name, what's this? Have we done this one? Oh, stop. The Apple thing is haunting me now. And have you been to that iconic hotel in Ericeira? Have you been to Ericeira?
Yes, I've been to Ericeira. Sorry, this is the second cat. This is the guest. This is Rocky. They were named when they thought they were two boys and a girl. So this one's called Rocky, but it's had to be renamed Roxanne.
Roxanne, there you go, little Roxanne. They're so beautiful, aren't they, kittens?
Yeah.
They really are.
Sorry, okay. Yes. So Ericeira, I've been once to meet up with Carl and Hank and James. Unfortunately, Joe couldn't make it at the time, but we didn't go to a comic hotel. No.
There it is. There it is. That looks like a British hotel, doesn't it? One of those British hotels by the sea where there'll be a palm court orchestra playing in the conservatory, and you can have a nice cream tea. I wonder what the Portuguese equivalent is. Okay, let's see if there's any questions this morning. Actually, no, while I scour the comments for questions, I think people are just pleased to see you and the kittens this morning, Andy. So I'm going to play this incredible set of images that Chris kindly gifted. That'll be Chris, Joyce, and Chelsea. Happy belated birthday wishes to Chelsea. Actually celebrated her birthday whilst being here in Portugal. They have had the most amazing tour. I'm continue to be stunned by the tours and itineraries people put together when having a little scout around Portugal. And the Smith family, the Smiths as in the family, not the band, are no exception to this. Their tour has been amazing. Even if they came to Portugal and only did what I'm about to show you, it would have been an amazing visit. Here it is, Crystal Palace, but not as you know it if you're British.
Fantastic.
Isn't that great? I didn't even know about that. And that's the Crystal Palace Gardens. We didn't see
Where?
a great deal of Crystal Palace there in Porto.
Okay. Oh, beautiful. Yeah, of course, I recognise some of the shots of Porto, but I wasn't sure if they were all, if all the shots there were just for these Crystal Palace Gardens. They look lovely. Reminiscent in some ways of the Generalife in the Alhambra, the water gardens with the peacocks.
Okay, yeah, superb part of European and Portuguese history there, and the beautiful views of Porto, as you say. Iconic bridge, never far away from the vista there, and peacocks in the garden. And what I neglected to include in that little slideshow, there was a section of video with chickens running about, and that seems to be quite a Portuguese thing. Have you noticed this, Andy? You go to public parks here, and there are chickens running about.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're put there on purpose or whether they've just escaped from someone's garden, but
That makes sense, doesn't it?
You drive through the countryside in Portugal, and people have a fairly laissez-faire attitude to whether or not they keep their chickens fenced into their garden or just let them roam around the local neighbourhood.
Yes, that is so true. And it's like, you can imagine, can't you, the park keeper there, who's sick of chickens coming in and destroying all his stuff, like rigging Joao up, whose garden backs onto the park. Joao, come and get your chickens, man! And destroying the garden and crapping over everything as well. Great soundtrack was picked up on there as well.
It was, yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, that's a track I found on YouTube. YouTube have a lot of free music that they provide so that you can set some images to it. That's Nat Keefe and Hot Buttered. Sorry, not Nate. Nat Keefe and Hot Buttered Rum, and a track called The Slow Rabbit. So you can find that if you search for The Slow Rabbit, I imagine. Oh yeah, Nat Keefe's got his own YouTube channel as well. So you'll be able to find more music like that on YouTube. Oh, and here we have a question, which it's not unusual apparently to find chickens or ducks in public parks. Ducks, yes, Antonio, for sure, but we're not used to chickens, are we, Doc? Thank you, Antonio, and good morning to you. Morning, everyone. Question from Maxine. Will Carl's Portuguese pronunciation ever improve? No, that's not Maxine's question, although it is another question in her mind, but not asked on the screen. Is there any recovery difference between naturally induced sleep and sleeping pill sleep? That's a very good question. That's for you, I suspect, Doc.
Yeah. Without going into the pharmacology of it, partly because I can't remember it, my hazy memory, but very certain, is that there is a big difference between naturally induced sleep and sleeping pill sleep. But I couldn't give you the dynamics of it. But yes, there is. There's certainly a difference in the amount of REM sleep that you get in chemically induced rather than natural sleep.
Indeed, and I know from a little, somewhat, not exactly feverish, not literally, but my sleep was disturbed by not feeling 100%. And I quite like these shamanic episodes I have, Doc, from being held away from deep sleep. What's going on? Can you tell me what's going on?
Sorry, I thought you were going to start talking about hallucinogenics then, but carry on. Sorry, how can I talk about what?
Didn't need to. I don't need to. I've been doing it naturally recently. So every now and then, Doc, if I may go into, I only do this just so I can shoehorn in a personal question every now and then, obviously. But every I don't know, probably annually, I have a sort of fitful and feverish episode. I don't know. Would the Greeks have referred to them as the humours or something like that? Where I take to my bed, and I need to rest and sleep. It's probably exhaustion, It's probably something that whereby I would just be encouraged to go to bed. So that's what I do, and I can't go into a deep sleep, and so it's like the hallucinations and visions you have when you're in a flu, one of those feverish flus, because the fever messes with your mind, doesn't it? Isn't that what causes the hallucinations in flu?
So there's there's a really good explanation of it that I saw last night actually on a Netflix episode of The Haunting of Hill House, and it was a very well put explanation of sleep paralysis, and it is a related thing because the brain if you switch from sleep to wakefulness, or for wakefulness to sleep quickly, then you don't experience this. But every now and then, and more often in some people than in others, the boundary between sleep and wake or wakefulness is extended and blurred. And when that happens, you see visions from your subconscious. You might remember, you might see memories as if they were very real. You might bring up images of things that you've imagined in the past that you then see as real. So this is how and why that happens. And if you've got a feverish episode going on, that would be one trigger for the kind of broadening of this boundary between sleep and wakefulness.
And in our rational age, in our age where we are very uncomfortable with illness because that's a human urge, and we've got very good at squashing the symptoms, haven't we? And like not wanting to go into these areas. Understandably, I'm not knocking it, but we've also lost the, I suppose, what loosely, I use the word loosely, what benefits there might be. So naturopaths would say, go with the fever, wouldn't they? Manage it, but go with it rather than just trying to kill it with ibuprofen and whatever, other pharmaceuticals. And I'm sure I have breakthroughs. I'm sure I have mental breakthroughs, and I emerge from those situations or those episodes somewhat expanded, as though it has been a sort of shamanic kind of journey in some way.
Yeah, because when we're the things that we go through in our sleep, what we process is a huge amount more than what we process when we're conscious.
Amazing.
And therefore, you're very likely to be to have these great and wonderful ideas in your sleep, which never see the light of day, because you don't have that blurred boundary between sleep and wakefulness. So actually, I think you're right. I'm a scientist by years and years of training and interest, but I'm very open to the supernatural, and there are lots of things that are unexplained. And one of the problems with the modern world is that we have suppressed, and when I say modern, I mean over the last 400 or 500 years, we have suppressed our ability to communicate with the supernatural, for want of a better word. Although I don't like the phrase, because it is actually just relating to nature. We've suppressed that in our quest for rationalization. And our fear of witchcraft, and our fear of pre-organized religion, and the need for and here we go into politics again, the need for the system to use religion to control the people. And this was Marx. Religion is the opiate of the masses, and what that meant was religion will keep the masses suppressed and stop them from questioning.
Yes. Well, I do like the way our conversation has gone this morning, and you can't have one without the other again, can you? Because the very nature of the scientific exploration suggests that there's something out there we don't understand. So by saying you're a scientist, is admitting there are things you don't know and that you're willing to explore them, right? In the best possible sense, I would have thought.
Well, yeah, I mean, so science is about knowledge, but it's a very bold scientist that says there's nothing left to discover, and therefore stop looking, and this is what you need to know.
Be very suspicious of that person. Anyway, bom dia, alegria a todos. From Amsterdam, feriado nacional. It's Koningsdag over there.
King's Day.
King's Day, there you go. Tudo está fechado. Everything's shut over there. Hoje para celebrar o aniversario do rei. Okay, so the King's birthday, King's Day over there. So have you still got a royal family, Matty, in the Netherlands? I don't mean you personally.
They cycle around on bicycles around Amsterdam, apparently.
That is so modern, isn't it? What, selling ganja? No.
Probably.
Rebel Mama. Warm is good. It is like March and April here. Frio e ventosa. I'll be on a tap. Oh, look at this. I will be on tap 202 tonight. What a lovely thing to be able to say. I've got a song coming on. That's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And I have found the wonderful document that you have shared with me. Look at this. I think you'll like this, Doc. This is something that Jean sent in. And I think you have some professional skill in this area, don't you, of creating such things, Jean? We were talking the other day on the show about how Portugal as a landmass fits into, let's say, particular states of America. And how, although it's a vast place, and to me, a country that has places I want to discover probably for the rest of my life, Portugal is quite tiny in the scheme of things. And this is the work that you did here, Jean, to demonstrate that. If I scroll through these, there's the New York City metropolitan area. And I think we have some superimposition, don't we, of... look, there's some lovely comparisons here. New York and Lisbon there. Jersey Shore. This is very thorough, isn't it? Jersey Shore compared with the Algarve. Jersey Shore, I think, is a personality in the UK. Portugal compared with northeastern United States. There, isn't that incredible? These are obviously the same scale to give you that sense of comparison. There, look at this one. Portugal compared with California. So it sits very nicely inside California there. Great work. And a zoom in on Westwood there, the neighborhood. I'm thinking, where do I want to live? Do I want to, no disrespect to New Jersey, do I want to live there? Which looks quite densely created, doesn't it, on the traditional American grid system? And there's Tavira by the sea there. Looks lovely, doesn't it? I think I'm going to go with Tavira on this occasion. Jean, great work. Thank you. And I suspect you don't mind me sharing that with people if they have a similar worldview and like to see things in that particular way that you've set out there. Superb. Well, morning to you, Matty. Let's see what else is going on. Yes, bon voyage on the tap 202 tonight. Fantastic, Jean. It depends on what time of year it is for your underwear and if you live in an apartment block. Okay. Can you understand in any way what's going on with that statement from Garvo there, or does he need help, do you think?
I suspect you might have missed another message to which you might have been responding. I don't know.
To be fair, it was indeed the case. That is exactly how you've described it. Can you walk around? This was something I was waiting to share with you, Doc. Can you walk around in a Portuguese house in your underwear and still feel comfortable? And then the next bit of the question is, and what if in your own house? I don't understand that bit. I thought you might. But do you think they're asking that question from a cultural point of view? Is it acceptable? Would the Portuguese people look down on you if you walked around in your underwear inside your house? Or is it a question of temperature and climate?
I mean, who would know if you did? The number of times that places have got their blinds down, even when people are inside, you probably wouldn't know if people were doing it. So unless they didn't put their clothes on when they answered the door, then they would probably go unnoticed. In terms of climate, certainly from about now until about November, the answer is yes.
And but you have to be ready, and I'll show you this in a video I'm going to play a bit later on. It is the cold country with the hot sun. So you're fine. You're fine after about 10 o'clock in the morning, and you're fine until about 6 o'clock at night. But you don't want to be walking around in your smalls after then or before 10, do you? Really, you want to have a nice dressing gown, maybe an overcoat and a scarf ready and a hat for other times of the day, even in spring. Okay, so to answer your question there, Joseph, it's a pleasure to help in this way. To Sam from James, virtually my entire computer life has been with Apple. I love it, but I also hold no judgment about non-Apple users. Well, that's very good of you. That's in its own way quite condescending from an Apple user there, isn't it? I choose not to look down on you. I'm not interested in the one-upmanship business.
That's very condescending. This isn't about one-upmanship. This is about freedom.
Yeah, typical Apple user. And I haven't asked you yet what you think about Elon's purchase. Now we're in the world of IT here. What do you think? Here we go. You could just do we need to talk about it, or do we just look at your face for 30 seconds there?
Yeah, well, how much more of our lives do these handful of billionaires need to control?
Oh, okay. That's the lens through which you're choosing to view it, right? I've heard that for his 44 billion, If it goes right in the business plan that works okay, they'll be at least able to donate at least $10,000 a year to hungry people.
He could donate much more than that with his 44 billion without buying bloody Twitter.
Doc, I set you up there. I put the ball on the tee and you smacked it, because that, my friend, was a bit of fake news, and I made it up. And that's exactly the sort of thing he is wanting to address, isn't it? Yeah, you're right. I mean, 44 billion. Actually, I was just about to say you could do a lot with 44 billion to solve many of humanity's problems. Would that touch the sides, do you think?
Where it would start? It'd be a hell of a start if it was focused in certain areas.
Yes. Okay. All right. But wouldn't it be nice to see that? Because there don't seem to be many projects like that, do we? You know, you're on the social media and you're hearing about Musk muscling in and buying Twitter. But not often do you hear, you know, there's all the talk on Twitter or the social media at the moment is how we can spend 44 billion on putting some of the world's problems right. Not a tweet you see very often, is it?
No,
anyway,
not really. No.
What came first, the banana or the slug? I'm going to guess that slug for this, aren't you? It's a prehistoric creature.
Well, I'd go with the banana, I think.
But that would then suppose, wouldn't it, that the evolution is a linear thing that started, and, you know, chicken, egg. It's all very well. You scientists can be very erudite and fancy, but then a simple question like which came first, chicken or the egg, just makes you change your subject, I think. So let's do that now. What? Hold on a minute. Hold the front page. You've got a definitive answer on that. Which did come first?
Well, not yet, but I will do soon.
He's working on it in the back room. That's why they can't have visitors, because Doc's laboratory is going to be cracking that poser that has haunted mankind for decades now, for centuries, for eons. Bon dia todos from Antonio F. And James agreed. I have used both Microsoft. They won't leave it alone, will they? They won't leave it alone. They could just be happy with their Apple stuff, but they've got to keep talking about it. I have used both Microsoft and Apple products, and I love how Apple products just work. It's fun teasing non-Apple. Well, it's not working. Over 100 million albums, taking home 6 Grammys, 4 American Music Awards, inductees of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Vocal Group Hall of Fame, but the accolades don't stop there. They won't for Earth, Wind and Fire. And the passing of sax and flute playing team member this morning that we're marking here on the Good Morning Portugal show. Thanks to Chris for bringing that sad news up. Obrigado, amigos. Not at all, Gene. We're so looking forward to having you back in the country. We had the first Macintosh computer in 1982. Owned their product since. Never had any problem.
Oh, my goodness.
Can we move on, please? Advert says... Okay.
150 million years for slugs, 10,000 for bananas, so I was wrong.
So I was right, was I? The slug is a primeval. I mean, he does lend himself to the sludge from which we're supposed to have emerged, right? Advert says, apartment, good price, vacant possession on all fittings included, even the corpse on the balcony. This picture has re-emerged. You're tickled by this, aren't you? I know. Where's it gone now? Our wonderful picture. Oh, my goodness, I've got so many pictures here. I can't find the one I want. Oh, here it is. Yeah, that's the picture Gary's talking about, which continues to cause mirth and merriment. And your comment is covering up the vital thing that sealed the deal there, I think, on that particular deal. Good times. Okay, back to your comments then. Is anyone going to ask a medical question or not here? Cindy B's in, and a shout out to Eusebio from Antonio F. The band was a shining star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Not many can compete with such an expansive catalogue or their accomplishments. No, supergroup, Earth, Wind and Fire. We all like to get down to Earth, Wind and Fire from time to time, do we not? Bon dia. We would not be in Portugal without being inspired by your show and the generous compass. Obrigado a todos. Nice one, Jim. Thank you very much for saying that this morning. It's always nice to hear that. And morning, everyone, from another Andy this morning. How you doing? And what's he wearing today? What's that? That was one of his mask options on which you don't have to wear anymore. Oh, how's that in Leiria at the moment? Did everyone just suddenly relax with the mask wearing, Andy, or were a few corporations insisting that staff continue?
There are probably about 5% of people still wearing them, but I've not seen anyone insisting on them.
Do you approve of such a move?
I think so now. Yeah. I think we've, whatever your view on vaccines and all the regulation that's happened, and I think some of it was overdone, as I said in previous episodes. But I think we've managed to suppress the pandemic so far. I have no doubt there will be spikes and increases. Hopefully there will not be another virulent strain, but I think we have to get back to normality. Our whole society depends on being able to interact with people on a very frequent and fairly intimate way.
Yeah, and I'm very moved seeing people's faces again. It's so lovely. And that'll be our first meetup this afternoon, actually, without masks. So have you got a view on this? Because you might be joining us, mightn't you? I think Palmera it is. I think we need to be in the sunshine, don't we? Get some of that vitamin D on us as well.
I am going to try and be there. That's the idea.
Palmera it is then. Palmera it is, because I think the parking will suit you as well. You get preferential treatment. It might be easier for parking for you.
Is that on the front?
Yeah. Yeah. No, well, it is, but it's by the green, the towards the quay side.
Anyway, I'll find it. Palmera's the name of the place, yeah? You'll send me a link.
I will send everyone a link to that. So it's been decided we're at Palmera, so we might get wet and windy.
Can we take the disappearing messages off the Silver Coast meetup? I know you don't want anyone other than admins posting, but someone's put disappearing messages on, which means that all the useful information only stays there a week and then disappears.
You got to be quick, Doc. But yes, I think you sent me a message about that, but it disappeared. So I will do what I can. I will do what I can.
7 days, Carl. 7 days. You don't get to do that one.
While we're talking about WhatsApp groups, and why it sounds like I'm being an authoritarian, high on the fumes of power. It's actually an announcement group to say where we're going to be. And it does get a bit annoying, doesn't it, when people send you Candy Crush requests on every WhatsApp group you're in, and your phone never stops vibrating in your pocket. I mean, that can be quite nice, but you need to be able to choose. You need to be able to choose, I think. And I don't know if anyone's got any better ideas for managing WhatsApp groups. That's an ask anything about Portugal question for me, or that's ask anything about popular culture. If you've got a good way of managing WhatsApp groups and not having them drive you insane with unnecessary information. 3
strikes and you're out. You post your rules. You post your rules in the group. You tell people to abide by them. If they don't, if they 3 times they breach the rules, they're kicked.
Cancelled. All right. Look at this. Talking of kicking. Kicked a door frame this morning. Yeah, and I think I broke my little toe. It's agonizing.
Neighbor strap, and that's not a sexual perversion. You get some surgical tape, and you strap your little toe to the next toe, and you leave it to it for the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay, and as the GNR were leaving the property, they said he must have misheard the neighbor Stratton. Kicked a door frame this morning, and I think I broke my little toe. It's agonizing. Andrew, you have my love and sympathy, but is it anything to do with wearing full armor around the house? And why did you not have your armored shoes on? That's where he needed. That's where he needed the protection, wasn't it? On his feet, not on his head. I don't know. But he probably doesn't want to hear that right now. He needs to get over that. Before we give him counselling and advice, you need to get over the immediate pain. Forecast for Eddie Sarah on Friday is sunny and clear and 24 degrees. So ready. And Sarah's here as well. Hola, bon dia. We're cloudy but happy here in Stubble. That's a good condition to be in. Very good, Sarah. Bummer about the toe. Wear shoe which doesn't flex much from Jean as well. So a bit of neighbour strapping and keep it nice and straight, I think is the converging guidance here. Fantastic. You're in good hands, Andrew. It was one of those absent-minded moments. Isn't it always? Isn't it always? I mean, who purposefully crashes their little toe into a door frame? There might be somebody here who does
You
that,
call it masochism.
where pre-coffee state was the root cause. Oh, can you imagine the cursing in the house? Yes, and there's always this bit, isn't there? Now, this you might have something to say about this, Doc. The pain response. You see, the human mind consciousness is quicker than the pain response, isn't it? And we can prove this because you can put you can touch something hot, or you can stub your toe on a door frame, and you have that little window where you're thinking to yourself, any minute now, this is really going to hurt. And you're absolutely right, aren't you? 2 seconds for Andrew. Now, what we need to do, Doc, we can make a fortune here. If we can find out what goes on in the human mind and delay that from 2 seconds to 4 seconds to 10 seconds, this is a plot for a movie, as well as an incredible financially giving idea for us, isn't it? This is entrepreneurial gold dust that I've just chanced upon here. I think I'm going to turn off the broadcast so that you and I could talk about this separately. And don't give it any more.
The title of the movie is The Pain Gap.
That's the name of the film, The Pain Gap. Okay, so unwittingly, we can't write the movie and we got to get it sold. But it's a fantastic movie where people will be comparing pain gaps with each other, won't they? They'll be in the cafe. Have you brought me the pain gap stuff? Yes. And then obviously part of the movie is where the pain gap technique or whatever it fails, and every stubbed toe and scalding and paper cut you've ever had suddenly kicks in, which is the moral of the story is face the pain when it happens and don't try and put it off, right? We're onto a winner here. We're onto a winner. Blue language, that's so 70s of you. No one says that anymore except your gran. Blue language.
That's right, yeah. I remember my parents saying that.
Yes. Oh, yes. Isn't it time you went to bed now, Andrew? This television program's a little bit blue. I used to be a Prairie Home Companion fan. Me too. Do you know this particular show, Doc? Have you seen this? Oh, it's so charming and heartwarming. When I lived on a rural island in Washington State, I had no TV, so I used to listen on the radio regularly. It was one of those family shows. Family would get around the radio and listen to it. A variety show. And it was recorded live in front of an audience. I think we should do something similar. Carl, I couldn't extract the video from the Centre Algarve yesterday. I hope you got to view the link. Yes, I will take a better look at that. Telex. So I was talking about how in 1974, of course, we haven't talked about the Carnation Revolution. I know you're a fan, of course, Doc. But the word getting through around the world when Brazil became the first country to acknowledge Portugal's new state of government, it would have come through on the telex, wouldn't it? Have you ever seen a telex? Have you ever seen a telex machine?
I have seen a telex machine, yeah. Way back in the time. No, it wasn't in a hospital. I'm trying to remember where. I can't remember where it was. Probably a science museum or something.
So talk us through the comm systems from your life as a doctor, from a junior right through to a senior GP. How did technology change your job? When messages were coming through, presumably in the early days, it was on a fax machine. You would be faxing prescriptions and stuff.
Yeah. So we had faxes in the NHS. There was a fax machine on every ward, in every pharmacy, in every GP surgery. Faxes would go backwards and forwards. Then we had secure faxes. So there were open faxes, and then the NHS got around to the idea that actually telecommunications probably ought to be secure. So we had secure faxes, and they were kept locked up and all the rest of it. And there were fax front sheets that made War and Peace look like a sonnet. And if you are not the person who should be receiving this, you must destroy it immediately and phone us. Blah blah blah.
You always knew you should have a look at those, didn't you?
Of course. And then we got computer programs that would send faxes because email wasn't accepted. So we were able to send faxes straight from our clinical record systems. And at some point, the mobile phone turned up. So I remember as a young GP getting my first mobile phone that was about the size of a breeze block. But thankfully meant sure that I thought it was good originally, because up till then, You know, I'd go out to the park with the kids, and I'd go out shopping. I'd come home, and the wife would say, "Oh, you had a phone call from so and so who need you to ring them because they've got a stubbed toe or something." And and I would ring them, and that's how it would work. And then I got the mobile. I thought, "Yeah, this is brilliant." And about 2 weeks later, I thought, for God's sake, I wish I could throw this bloody thing in the canal.
Stop. And we've not had a moment's rest ever since, have we?
And from then on, you know,
man?
all professionals who had a 24-hour responsibility, and we did, even though we had working hours and we had out-of-hours services, contractually as GPs, we had a 24-hour responsibility for our patients all the time. And
Amazing.
So that mobile phone would be by my side or in my pocket, whether I was in the pub, at a Christmas meal, wherever.
Yeah.
Even on holiday.
It's amazing, isn't it? But it's not about, clearly it's not about technology, because even with all that now, even with the cutting edge, the white heat of technology, you still have to wait 12 weeks for an ambulance, don't you, in the UK?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
For the Mac lovers in the channel, why is the logo missing a bite from the apple? You know, he's saying that in a kind of intriguing, come on and let's find out kind of way, isn't it? You know, I would love to bring it. Sorry, say that again.
There's always a bit missing in terms of functionality.
Is that right? Okay, that's good enough for you. I would love a riot gathering here. So James is offering to host a meetup in Ericeira. Great. We have the template. Randy, Prof, Garvo, Chris shouting random men's names out. Sure, I remember a few clubs in Soho where that was the case. Says Pete. And that is, yeah, part of living next to somebody in the man cave. This is what the neighbors of man cave people, this is what the neighbors of people who are in the man cave say. They just have their neighbors shouting out men's names throughout the day and certainly on a Friday night. Don't forget to join them this coming Friday. Behold, keeper of the likes, Doc's here. Smash the like button. Smash the like button, Mr. Bond. What's happened if the kitten's gone for a lie down? As long as we're still discussing Carl's operating system, I'm amazed that no one has suggested Linux. The Yeoman clan.
I love Linux. I've got a couple of Linux boxes online, and I've always used Linux for various bits and pieces, and I sometimes run it on my Chromebook as well. And
just how crazy can an install party get?
Yeah, it can be fun.
Gary says, I bet. Gary says hi to the cute kitten. Oh, the cats are talking to each other this morning as well. So, kids, we're going back to where we saw the 4-4, where the cat first came onto the screen. They were more interested in the kitten than you, I'm afraid, this morning. Oof. Jess, yeah. James, what's going on here? Got to run, have a great day. You can't run. You've got a broken toe. Andy, why didn't anyone warn me? The Portuguese, this is a question, I think, ask anything about Portugal Wednesday. Why does Portuguese have a different word for sexual excitement and normal excitement? The language is there to sabotage you. Well, we want to know what situation you were in when you discovered that, please, Pete. Have a great one, Andy. Yeah, good luck with the toe, mate. Don't forget the neighborhood strapping and keep it in a non-flexible shoe. We shared the pics you took in, Eddie said earlier. Thanks again for those. And yes, Jess, we showed those. They were fantastic. First night back at work for me, so here I am. I love it when people are back at work, but they're listening to us instead, or as well as, yes, multitasking. The kittens are lovely, even if they do get lost up your trouser leg, like they did with mine. I thought you were just pleased to see me. It's good to see the little black one has started to thrive a bit now, isn't that good?
Gary met the kittens about a week ago, and the black one was very, very, very much the runt of the litter, but she's pretty bossy now, so she's good. Hi, Vic. Good to see you too.
We're catching up now. Morning, Vic. Leiria Mayfair starts this weekend. They'll be totally laid back there. So what's that about then, Doc?
The Mayfair has been being built for the last 2 weeks in the car park in front of the stadium. It has ousted the normal flea market on a Tuesday and Saturday morning. And I'm looking forward to seeing it for the first time because it obviously hasn't been on for the last couple of years.
Be careful at the Mayfair. Fertility, all sorts. You probably do need to know the difference between normal excitement and sexual excitement in that case, don't you, going to the Mayfair? Okay, best computer is the one you have. Yes, very true. And however, not for Gary, because he's looking to upgrade. Can anyone suggest a good PC tower system to handle 4K video editing? Oh, sounds exciting. Yes, keep me in that loop as well, if you will. Segway, this is going right back. Segway, people were shouting when we were trying to remember what that was. Which is the best computer is a debate of the privileged. We get it,
First
James.
world problems, yeah.
Yes, sure, you can fit a Tesla battery pack to your wheelchair, Doc. I'll give you a drag race. I can't. We want to see the pictures. We want to see the pictures of you guys dressed as women with Tesla battery packs strapped to your various vehicles there. That's not a drag race, is it? No, Pete. In like Carl, I don't do Apple products. He's quite firm, isn't he? There's a pushback there from Garvo. Back in the day, Apple seemed limited to graphics applications. Microsoft wasn't great, but the architecture was public. So developers created programs for a wide array of business apps. Now we're stuck with it. And Teams! Now they made us use Teams. Sagittarians don't believe in horoscopes. Way! Little Roxy, Victoria. We knew we would keep Victoria here with the kittens. Microsoft Office, third-rate software that everybody uses because everyone uses it. That's right. It's the VHS syndrome, isn't it? Hey, Doc. Hey, hold on a minute. What's going on here? Why didn't I get any of that?
Because you weren't here. Owen's been with us for a while, and he made us a lovely salted caramel chocolate milk cake last night.
Right. The magic of video now. You just said he's bitter and he waved behind you. I'm going to try the same thing and see if I get him to wave behind me as well. And Owen's... Oh, no. It's...
wrong window.
That's what we need, an app for that, don't we? We need an app where Owen appears behind you, just to put a smile on your face. That's fantastic. Morning, Owen. Morning. Okay. What? I'm November 25th and my daughter is November 26th. My friends here in Porto are also Sagittarius. We knew Rebel Mama was a Sagittarian, didn't we? Needless to say, we all get into lots of the best trouble together. Of course you do, with your baggy jumpers, which I understand Sagittarians like. Doc will get the UK. Doc will... No, let's not go there because it causes a lot of trouble, doesn't it? But
hopefully he'll cling on to the power cables.
Did you see that when we say let's not go there? Morning, everyone. Okay, so then this is where we came in. Flipping heck, it's 10 to 10 as well. It's not unusual to find chickens or ducks.
We've gone through those, Carl. We've had that.
Do your episodes coincide with a particular... You don't mean episodes of Good Morning Portugal. You mean my episodes, don't you?
Or hypnagogic, or whatever it's called. Episodes,
I don't think they do. I mean, I'm a little bit touchy around the full moon as well. And who doesn't like to be touchy around the full moon? I've never really been drawn to people or iPhone because they're just too trendy or fashionable. And that's not me. The cool thing to do is to have an old one. But the problem, like a hand-me-down, I get my mum's old iPhones and that sort of thing from time to time. But the problem is they switch them off, don't they? They don't allow them to be usable for very long.
Terrible.
Sky News, Tesla shares sank 12.2 overnight, wiping 1.26 billion off the company's value amid investor concern that chief executive Elon Musk might sell his shares to fund equity. For his
anyone who foresaw that could have made a fortune shorting Tesla shares.
Oh, and some might say that was the plan all along. Mr. Bond. I wonder. Oh man, and we're not talking about insignificant amounts of money again, are we? That is incredible, isn't it? And so,
well, if you're shorting shares on a 10% leverage, you could have doubled your money on that overnight.
Incredible, huh? As this is going to Warren, we're going back to some of the comments in YouTube. So we've established it's okay to walk around in your underpants in a Portuguese house. You just might get a chill, and wear slippers. The ceramic floors are just suck the life out of you. They're lovely in the summer, but in the winter you want a pair of slippers on, really. As You're welcome. As per the vlog this morning, we touched on the recent purchase of Twitter. We all probably have opinions about whether this is good or bad, says Warren. One thing that has not really changed is that Twitter continues, like all other mass market media companies, to be owned by by few very rich players. We should also be addressing who the obscenely wealth owners who the obscenely wealthy owners were who sold Twitter. This included the two largest real estate companies in the US, Vanguard and BlackRock. Cue ominous music. They have massive control of the cost and ownership of residential homes in the US and dictate who can own them. A little research shows that companies like Monsanto owned patents on many of the agricultural seed patents in the world. According to Wikipedia, their pharmaceutical division was purchased by Pfizer after they were involved in numerous lawsuits. Says Warren. Bayer has since purchased Monsanto, the seed agro company, to become now the largest seed company in the world. Be afraid. Every one of us has eaten their food products. Well, I don't like this globalism and monopoly. It takes billions to build us our cheap TVs and cars. Twitter's previous owners got above market return for their shares. It's not like Musk added 44 billion to the world economy. Money moved from one bank account to another. If we are rightfully concerned about feeding the planet, we need to be asking what the fat cats who just got paid with Musk's money are doing to help the earth. They are the ones.
Expropriate. That's what the underlying message of the April 1974 revolution was. Expropriate huge landed estates and provide proper dignity and proper services. That was the message of the 74 revolution. Some of it still exists, and it's a message which needs to be replicated around the world and completed here in Portugal.
Well, if you may say so, Doc. The problem I see with your cunning plan there is that everyone started chanting expropriate, expropriate, and nobody knew what it actually meant, and they were rubbing jojoba beans on their face. And no, not exfoliate. So we've got to use simple words in revolutions, not these fancy political.
Take it back. It was yours in the first place.
All right, calm down.
They stole it from you.
Pontiac, Carl and Doc, a question. Portugal is letting Australians into the country. What? But only on essential travel. Any suggestions on the easiest way? What to get? Well, visiting us, visiting me and the Doc.
What's essential? Yeah, difficult.
Vegemite delivery.
Yeah, I mean, probably, and I probably shouldn't say this, but
he's going to.
Are any of the other European countries letting you in without it being essential travel? I think perhaps not, actually. I think all the European countries have possibly still got the same restriction.
Michelle, stick it in the forum. We will find. We want to meet you. We'll find a way to do this. Okay. Yeah. So I think you're probably
it's essential to meet us, obviously.
Maybe flying to the UK first might do it. Profile pic. Don't do that. Okay. Profile pic. Well, no, it's all good. You'll be allowed back out again. Profile pic. Vasco Lourenço was born near Castelo Branco. He later participated in the colonial war from 69 to 71. Returning to Portugal, he went to the Azores, where he remained until the 25th of April. Thank you very much for that explanation. Excellent beret there. Great to see you here, Michelle. Yes, and we want to actually see you here. Not there. I use their products not to be trendy. Used them for 40 years. Yes, it's beyond trendy when you've done it for that long, to be fair, but simply because their user interface is the easiest and most reliable. That's a fair point. That's a fair comment, Rebel Mama. And 40 years, it's funny, isn't it, to think of Apple and think of 40 years? I do think of them as a much newer product than that. I used to have episodes of sleep paralysis, and it can be terrifying. Is that where you can't wake up and you're just lying there with your eyes open?
Well, you wake up, but you can't move because the brain's woken up, but it hasn't kind of started the engines for the muscles to move yet.
Oh. I might, Gary, you and me maybe could start marketing our services here. I could do shamanic journeys while you lure people into that state. I could then take them on a shamanic journey. What could possibly go? Wrong.
Oh,
Okay, this is really
man.
bad for the self-esteem of other guests. Oh, what's he like? A guest on this show. Oh, my word. Hypnagogic. How very dare you, Cindy B, use words like that. Pain is our body's way of telling us something is amiss and to pay attention and probably to rest. It's so true, isn't it? The simple things we forget, don't we? I deliberately do a 2-day sleep deprivation once or twice a year. Sam, it's an interesting experience. It is, yeah, especially when combined with Wim Hof breathing. Lots of new ideas and creative thoughts. What's going on there? Have the cats eaten the phone or something?
Sorry, Carl. I put it on Do Not Disturb, so I don't know what happened to that. Anyway, carry on. Sorry.
Didn't work, did it? And he was an active member then, Lorenzo, of the Movimento de Capitais de Abril. He was part of the Movimento das Forças Armadas, the MFA, being appointed on the 24th of July, 1974, to be part of the Council of State. Fantastic, Prof. Love this. Natural sleep is much better. Modern sleeping pills are designed just to get you to sleep, not keep you sleeping. Oh, that's interesting. Says Jess there. When I worked in publishing, everyone used Macs, and I have never really got on with loud fans. What, banging on the window asking for your autograph. And lots of windows crashing, as well as constantly being charged for things that are free. Oh, they won't let it lie. Morning, Eusebio. Oh, look at Doc. It's so distracting this morning. Morning, Eusebio. If I may, Grandma wanders off. Okay, and there's the picture to prove it. If I may, I have a rare genetic disability in Portugal healthcare, good for rare conditions. Okay, hold on a minute. I read that wrong. If I may, I have a rare genetic disability. So full stop. Is Portugal healthcare good for rare conditions, or is it like the UK where doctors are told meeting someone with my condition will never happen? Well, we're sorry to hear that. Grandma wanders off. What would you say about the Portuguese health system and rare conditions, Doc? The public health system is good in that regard, isn't it? Better than private sometimes.
It is, and I mean, it does depend on the condition. And if you wanted to catch up with me in the forum, then or Carl, if you put my email address on screen, then I'd be happy to discuss further. Because it depends on the genetic condition and how rare it is. But Portugal generally do have a great healthcare system in terms of content, if not speed of delivery. But it's still very good. It's probably better now than many parts of the UK.
Okay, there you go, Grandma. So yeah, reach out to the doc on the forum, and also Serenity. I'd recommend Serenity as well, because you're not going to know, are you, until you ask about that particular condition in this particular country. So let's get to the bottom of that with you. Who won this then? Who had 921 in the doc? Yes, winner! Metaphysical versus supernatural. Yes, thank you for that nomenclature suggestion there.
Thank you, Cindy.
When I was in Africa, people woke up at 1 a.m., had a chat around the fire, and went back to sleep. I felt a lot more rested. Big fan of siestas here. Not aware of that one, waking up and having a chat and then going back. Although that does sound very restful and possibly sort of stimulating of dreams. I have a great rest today. Signing off. Busy. Suze, keep up the good work. See you soon. Everything is connected. Separation of religion and science is a human-created concept. Indeed. The rationalizations the doc was talking about. Yes, there is a royal family in the Netherlands, although the current king is 75% German.
Yeah, a bit like the UK monarchy as well, yeah.
All right, easy. The Queen on a Segway in Oxford Street's not going to happen, though, is it? Although it could do a lot for her popularity. Unlike the point's been made, Pete. I was a graphic designer for an engineering firm for 30 plus years. Hence your skills there. If she did it, it would be too late now, wouldn't it, Carl? Who's that? The Queen. On a Segway. We've missed that window, I think. No underwear is fine, but make sure you wear a hat if you go to the window. I'm glad we've got to the bottom of that. Hey, oh my God. I think Owen's enjoying the show this morning. Who needs underwear?
Try that now, Carl. Take off the underwear and stand at the window.
Let's know how it goes, but be careful with those electric shutters, okay? Who needs underwear? Why has Owen been stood at the window for half an hour? The electric shutters dropped when he turned his back. And now Who needs underwear when you have no neighbours? Ooh, Pete. Portugal is like San Francisco to San Diego with a quarter of the population of California in the entire country. Nailed it there in one sentence. Thank you very much. And I don't mind if
half of that's in Porto and Lisbon.
Yes, indeed. I don't mind if Apple users look up to us, Andrew. I don't think that's going to happen. I'm sorry that your guest yesterday thought so highly of those people. They are only interested in personal gain. There is no master plan that involves bettering the world.
Yes.
Lacking a little bit of nuance, possibly there. Jess, great to hear from you. We're all good. That dinner in Caldas was fun. Such a cool experience. We head back to Lisboa today. Right. We are 2 minutes past 10. Are you all right for a minute?
Always for you, Carl, always.
Well, apparently, thank you so much. And Chris, what's this? This is what happened last night to Chris in Porto. This is what can happen in Porto. So Chris really liked the images put together in that way with the music. So we met some German guys at a craft brewery in Porto. Then Joyce, Chelsea, and I went to dinner. Then the German dude said we should meet them at Ryan's Irish pub. So we did. Got kicked out at around 2 a.m. Rock and roll. Chris went back in after they'd closed and bought a few more bottles. We finished them on the sidewalk as our car arrived to take us home. Got home at 3 a.m. Isn't that amazing? Great night out in Porto yesterday. Lovely way to finish your visit there. Let's see how many more comments we can squeeze in before we go. There's a lot here. Oh, a medical question. That's why we're here in the first place. We've got to do this. I think I have shingles on my back. I had it 30-something years ago and took homeopathics and it went away quickly. What can I do now? No stress to speak of currently. I've got something to say about that, but I'll let the learned doctor speak first, obviously.
I'm trying to remember what natural remedy I used to put on shingles before trying ordinary medical things. I can't remember. It escapes me. Maybe tea tree. Might be tea. No, not tiger balm. No, I have used tea tree on shingles before. Yeah,
that's like a good burn.
Initially, but it's a good anti-inflammatory. But otherwise, you'd be looking at antivirals. Sorry, I haven't got anything else.
What I would add to that is you must have seen this a lot in your career, Doc. When people say, "I've no stress to speak of currently,"
yes,
often they actually are, aren't they? And they don't. This is how we can overrule ourselves, isn't it? We don't think we're stressed, and I'm as guilty of this as anybody. You see, well, everything's fine, and actually there might be something because your body's telling you a different story, isn't it, to the one your rational mind is telling you. So I don't know. I don't want you to be experiencing stress there, Rebel Mama, but maybe a second look at that. Where Twitter has its uses, off-grid has more value right now for everyday people. Is that the name of another platform? Were you literally saying, let's go off-grid? Because I would completely sympathize with that sentiment there. Friendly reminder that Elon Musk told the UN that if they gave him a budgeted breakdown of how 6 billion could end world hunger, he would do it. Was that just a challenge there that he knew he'd never have to face, or did he really mean that? They have him the budget, and then he decided not to do it. They gave him the budget, and instead decided he would buy Twitter for 45. Okay, so empty words and hot air. Empty words and hot air, just like Twitter, really. Okay, so we have. We wish you well with that, Rebel Mama. Let us know how that goes. Max Flight turns up at the most incredible times. Our whole society depends on people being able to interact. Well said, Doc. And say hi to Nelson for me. We
heard it here first.
What time is the meetup today? 1 o'clock. We will go to Palmera, everybody. And to be literal, the UN did not fulfill the requirement. They only showed him how most hunger could be eliminated. Apparently, it would require 6.6 billion. Got to be worth a go, isn't it?
He'd still have had 37 billion to throw at Twitter. Exactly.
Do doctors in Portugal prescribe diazepam for muscle spasms? I got it from the UK. Do you know if that's possible? It's maybe a different name.
My experience of GPs so far in Portugal, and it's limited to 3 or 4 of us going to the GP, but they're fairly happy to prescribe stuff that you've had before and that has worked. So you would probably have the usual warnings about not taking it for too long and too much. But yeah, I've seen prescriptions for things that might be quite difficult to get in the UK being given here.
That's some heavy duty pain relief right there, though, isn't it, Diazepam? Pete is urging Andrew to take the 8-inch high heels off before approaching doors. Good advice. I think that's for anyone, really, isn't it? Do you want to get those off? I mean, I like to get my heels off as soon as I come in the door. Bra off, heels off, and have a glass of wine. Relax. Grow a bigger stomach. It will arrive before your foot. What? We cannot condone amateur medical advice of this kind. You may be a doctor, actually, Dr. Smith. I don't know, but we're trying to contextualize this, and I'm struggling to do that.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Yes, quite. The swearing response is also delayed. Again, that is too decontextualized for me. If anything, investigate how to close that delay. We're going back to the Pain Gap movie that we created this morning. That's what it is. As people will
you have to fine tune the delay from what's useful to what is fatal.
Okay, that's a really good point. This movie's got legs, so to speak. I dropped a trolley jack on my toe once, and all I could do was make sort of whimpering, squeaking noises. Now, sometimes this does happen, doesn't it? Whether your operating system is Apple or Android inside your head, sometimes your brain just can't compute. My daughter made some lemonade the other day, right? And I took a massive swig of it, and my body could not cope. It was so sour that it was off the scale, and my face was grimacing and wincing. And I was thinking to myself, you got the super consciousness watching it going on. And I was thinking to myself, whilst this was happening, I don't think this is ever going to end. I think I'm locked in a sour loop. And it was the sourest thing I'd ever tasted in my whole life. And it was just out there on the boundaries of my senses. It was quite amazing. And I imagine Gary's was similar here, although much worse. Trolley Jack sounds like an American cheese, though. And I think it's actually a great big piece of machinery that he dropped on his foot there. I think the pain delay is more of a biochemical thing. It takes the body time to make the chemicals up. Well, that's what we're talking about, Jess. We're talking about the movie. It's a bit like, it's going to be like the Flatliners, isn't it? It's all of those sort of movies where it seems like a good idea. And the question you're asking yourself is, what will humans do next with this new idea? And then we'll find out, and it'll be horrible.
Actually, the chemicals exist there all the time. The nociceptors are the pain receptors, and it's the speed at which they transmit the nervous impulses down the pain fibers. So yeah, they could be fine-tuned, actually.
And you could argue, along with what Matty was saying, it's quite good that some people experience pain and stop what they're doing immediately, isn't it?
Yeah.
You probably don't want to get in the way of that. Carl, Grandma wanders off as a medical. I know we got there in the end. Rebel Mama. For anyone who was shouting at the screen, like, for goodness sake, answer a question. In Portugal, it's now illegal for your boss to email you outside your work hours. There you go.
Yeah.
Now, always wearing steel-toe boots around the house. So underwear, yes, but always steel-toe caps and a hat if you go near the window. The Portuguese people are like, there's another expat at the window. Oh, my God, what are these people like? It was like getting a pager for the first time. So excited, yes. Then 24 hours later, wanted to throw it in the toilet. I bet loads of doctors accidentally threw their pages in the toilet, or it dropped into the toilet. Shortage of HRT medication in the UK. Women reduced to horse trading medicines. They're running out. Heard this on the radio. Phone in yesterday. Doc, is this an awful state of affairs? I don't think.
Yeah, it's down to Brexit.
Okay. A new M1 Mac. That's what we were talking about, wasn't it? Where those guys couldn't service it. I can give help advice here, as I use several computers for commercial video and photographic uses. Yes, and the Apple cults are closing in around us, Doc. As Doc mentioned,
quick, head for the exit.
School came to mind through the square window. I agree with Doc. Let's procreate. Who said that? Did you say that?
I think he was talking about the close, intimate interactions that we need to keep society going. I wasn't talking about procreation exclusively, but of course that's part of it.
Yeah, what could possibly go wrong? I'm on my bicycle. Have to enjoy our Freedom Day after having to pop into the office. Have a wonderful Wednesday. Ciao for now. Indeed, Francis. During the Eisenhower administration, the top income bracket in the US climbed to a marginal tax rate of 91%. taxes on corporate profits were 2 times as great as the 2017. Tax the rich. Oh, come on.
Tax the rich or eat them.
You can go anywhere now. I'm definitely not condoning that. 1992.
There was a film called Eat the Rich, and it was a class war street slogan back in the 80s. You remember the paper class war?
Yeah, it's to me then, and it's it's like one mouthful at a time, like an elephant. I love that Carl reads every comment, but sometimes our questions get lost with all his chatter. Well, Moaz, we got there in the end, and I have to say, we're not going to get to all of them. There are still 5,000 more comments. It was expropriate, not procreate, wasn't it? When the revolution came, of course it was. Oh, where have I gone? Okay. I feel bad that we haven't read all the comments, but we got to go. It's 12 minutes past 10. Just the news just in, though. There is now an eclipse over Leiria, with Owen standing at the window. Tea tree is what happened? It's antiviral, antifungal, antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, antisocial. Use it with a light base oil. Yeah, don't be putting that straight on your shingles. My goodness. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Doc. Thank you, Owen, for your cameo appearance.
Departing statement. Make love, not war.
Make love, not war. Such sweet sorrow to see you go. Gentlemen, thank you very much indeed. Love to Leona, of course, as well. And those lovely little putty cats you've got there. Well played, everybody. Tomorrow we will be the hand. We'll be there he is.
I'll see you later, Carl.
He looks like he's riding a trolley jack around the apartment. Oh, there goes a tumbling kitten. And we'll see. What is this? Oh, he's making a brew. Mecca's a brew, lad.
What do you want?
Yeah, nice and strong. Couple of sugars. Got any biscuits? We will see you at the meetup, and we'll be with Vitor tomorrow here talking about solar installation in the north of Portugal. Apparently, it's possible, even though they are in darkness for 300 days of the year. No, that's not right. It's sunshine 300 days of the year up there. Solar insulation and installation. Talking to that with Vitor Costa, our man in the north tomorrow. Doc, fantastic. We'll see you again soon, mate. I'll see you soon around 1 o'clock at Palmera in the Bay. Ciao, ciao, bye. Oh, what? Hang on. The video's supposed to play. Well, afternoon, folks. It's harvest time. Let's go into the front garden, past the newly planted asparagus. Beautiful day here in Portugal. It was a bit cloudy this morning, but that's the funny thing about this country. It is a cold country with a hot sun. I shall never tire of saying that. You might tire of hearing me say it, but it perfectly describes how it works here. It can be very cold and damp, as Mrs. M is fond of saying. But look at this. Look at what she does here. She has grown this most extraordinary broccoli here, and another one next to it. And it's harvest time. Oh, there's a nasturtium flower in the middle there. Isn't this a beautiful bed? And there's some jasmine flower in here as well, which is the most beautiful scent at the moment, with the sun warming it up. Oh, and some lettuce growing in an old suitcase. Bit of skip dive in there. Oh, geranium coming through. That's looking pretty too, isn't it? There you go. How lovely. Anyway, back to the broccoli. Back to the broccoli here. And we're going to harvest this now. And have it for... Sorry, I can't hold the camera and cut this broccoli very well. So you're going to come in with me. And then we'll... Look, just slicing it now. Look at that. Isn't that fantastic? I think we're going to... Oh, and the other bed here, just while we're out here, have a look at this. All this lettuce. going a bit tough now. It's kind of very puts hairs on your chest lettuce, that. And a few onions. I asked Lee yesterday if these onions were ready, or how to tell when onions are ready, and he says the skin browns a bit. So it might be happening here. These guys might not be huge onions, but nice enough to be cooking with. Or maybe they're the sweet onions that I never used to eat onions raw until I got to Portugal, and maybe these are those. But the leeks have got a little way to go yet, haven't they? Look at that. Fantastic. Anyway, see you later. Gotta go and eat some broccoli.